A place where sci-fi meets reality, where dreams of flying a starship are made real and the adventures to have are just beyond our doors. But who makes all of this happen? The staff and volunteers of the Christa McAuliffe Space Center help launch you into your wildest space adventures. Our program started off small in the 1990s, but has grown into a community where anyone can go to feel like they belong.
The original Space Center was supposed to be just for my Young Astronaut Club, because the Young Astronaut Club was a pretty popular club at Central. And so when I went out to raise money, it was to build just a little ship in the back of a classroom. But more money came in and I realized that we could build a bigger ship. So we built the first Voyager as an addition to the school. More and more teachers in the district were asking if they could somehow get involved. So I decided we would do a field trip program, and of course a field trip program needs staff. That's when I realized that we had to have staff, but we didn't have a budget for staff. So I knew that we would have to rely heavily on a volunteer force. That's where the volunteer program came in. We started with just 6th grade volunteers when we first opened, but as more and more people visited the center for not only for field trips but for private flights, we began to see older students, junior high kids and high school kids were starting to come in. They saw the program. They would ask me, is there any way we can get involved? And that started the volunteer program. I was the only paid person. And then we were running overnight camps at the time. I realized we needed more adults on hand. And so adults were the next paid level, especially adults that could help us with the overnight program. And we also needed some adults to help during the field trips. So they were the first paid staff. So we had initial volunteers wore black shirts. Then we went to royal blues. Once they became gratuities or a paid staff, they would get their royal blue shirts. And then if they became flight directors, they would wear navy blue. And our adult staff wore green.
As the program evolved and grew, it became apparent that recognition was needed for the volunteers and staff who freely gave their time to the Space Center.
We had pins for the different simulators, and the staff would earn their passes within the ships. And if they got all their passes, then they got a pin.
Pins are still given to those volunteers who have worked hard and earned their ship passes. Patches are now given as well for time spent at the Space Center, ranging from 100 hours to 2,000, or 1 year to 10 years. These achievements are presented at Honors Night, when all the staff and volunteers gather to celebrate all the hard work done together over the past few months.
You know, I think being a volunteer for a lot of the kids gives them a chance to get out of the house. You know, as somebody becomes a teenager, they're looking for a little bit of autonomy. They are slowly getting that break from their parents as they learn to adult and become adults. I found that the volunteer program here at the Space Center opens the door for a lot of teenagers. It gives them a place to come and be with kids like them who really love science fiction, they love space, and it's a place where they can find a home, where they can hang out with kids like them, a good, safe environment. We have former volunteers and staff in all walks of life. We've got lawyers, politicians, we have businessmen, teachers. We even have some that have gone into the military. We've got dentists, doctors, surgeons. We've got people in the space program too. We've got some of our staff that have gone into engineering. They're working the space program. We have people that are working to build satellites. We have some of our staff that have become pilots. So they've gone on to do great things.
This year we celebrate the Space Center's 33rd birthday since 1990. Through a close in August 2012 and reopening in February 2013, through COVID and through the building being torn down and rebuilt in summer of 2020, the Space Center program continues to grow and inspire countless teenagers and adults alike. As we look to the future, the Space Center staff will continue to educate minds through the discipline of wonder.